Hello there folks, my name is Dan Bell and welcome to today's training video. Today we're going to focus on actually creating what is called a milestone dashboard that is actually visible from Project Center within Project Online and Product Server. The lessons involved here, there's actually going to be 4 steps. First, we're going to just review the dashboard functionality, show you what it's all about, how it can help you out. And once we do that, there are actually a number of milestones that we're going to ultimately display in the dashboard. I think there's about 5 or so. What we're going to do first in our lessons here is we'll first create one set of the required custom fields and test it just to make sure that, yes, this process is working out okay, and we're happy with the results. Once we've confirmed that our method is going to work, then we'll go ahead and create the remaining custom fields for the dashboard. Followed by lastly, the last lesson would be, we're going to create a full test project. And then after we create that test project, we'll create a Project Center view that will go ahead and expose those milestones that will be able to be utilized by the users to view milestones. All right, let's get started. So we're going to start with reviewing the dashboard functionality. If you notice, I am at the home page of one of my environments here, Project Online. And like we said, this is a Project Center view. Therefore, I'm going to navigate to Project Center. Go ahead and click on the tile. And this is just your basic summary view, right? So I'm looking at all the different projects here, different project attributes and so forth. What I want to do is navigate to that view that I was just talking about here. And notice I have something called a milestone summary. If I click on that, it brings up the view that we're going to strive to create today. Okay. Project ID, project name, and then we have these items here, PRS, SRS, DDS, Beta, and GA. Now, you don't really have to worry about the names of the milestones because you can name them whatever you want them to be, right? So your organization is going to have milestones. You're going to call the milestones what are important to you in your organization, right? I just chose to call mine these names here, right? So this can be a pharmaceutical drug release cycle, some kind of development program release cycle, whatever it is. It's unimportant what the milestones are called. All that's really important here is that these are actually milestones specified within a project at the task level, and we're actually exposing them here in a Project Center view. All right, so we have 5 of them, and these indicators right here mean different things, okay? So the milestones, check marks mean they're complete, yellow diamonds mean they're running late. I believe the betas and the dashes here mean that they're probably not baselined, or they're probably not started. And then there's going to be another indicator as well that means they're not applicable. Let's let me launch Project Pro here for a minute. So we'll go ahead and log into the instance briefly here, and I'll open up one of the projects that has the milestones there. So we'll go ahead and launch this highway improvement project. There's a number of custom fields required to make this happen. And one of them is a field in which you flag the various tasks to be a milestone represented in that dashboard. And in this case, I just called it MR1. Again, you can call it whatever you want. It doesn't matter as long as it's utilized to flag the different milestones. And it's a custom field and it utilizes a custom lookup table. And here is, you can see this task here at row 11. I assigned it the value of PRS. This represents my PRS milestone. Okay. Down farther, you can see this one at row 29. I assigned that my SRS milestone. Okay, there's my DDS milestone there, so on and so forth throughout the project. Can you assign? You really need to avoid assigning the same value to more than one task here, because the tool is only going to calculate the value for one of them. Okay, so you just assign one milestone per task within this project. Now, there's other fields required in the system to make these calculations show up at the project level. Now, first of all, since it's a task level field, you need to have a task level formula to evaluate what's going on here. Okay, so there's going to be a task level field, and if I right click here and say insert and type a PR, it's going to bring me to the fields that begin with PR. And notice there's 2 PRS fields. One has an underscore T after it at the end, appended to it. One does not. The underscore T just represents it's a task level field. Just makes it easier for me or whoever's maintaining the system to be able to find it. Click on that one, bring it up. And notice it's just going to be numbers here. We'll talk a little bit about that later. In this case, notice it has a value of 1 for the PRS task right here. Analyze the competition. Bring up the other field. Again, insert column. Find the PRS field here. And notice it shows a check mark here. Why does it show check marks for all the fields? Well, that's because this PRS field is a project level field. And it's going to see the same value for the entire project. And since this is these are all tasks of the same project, naturally it's going to show check marks for every single task here. All right, so basically that's the functionality of it. Okay, so what happens is you assign a value, whatever task you want to represent the milestone. This PRST is a task level formula. It performs some calculations based on values within the system and on that specific task, and it equates to a certain value, and it's going to be a numeric value. And then based on that numeric value, it's going to be interpreted or evaluated with a project level field. And based on what that evaluates to, in this case, a green check mark, which represents complete, that will equate to a certain graphical indicator. And ultimately, this graphical indicator, this PRS field, is displayed in a project center view. All right, so let's get started. Okay, so what we're going to do first is we're going to log into this other environment. Okay, so I've logged into a different environment here. And like we said, we have a number of fields that need to be created here. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create my lookup table. We talked about the fact that we need a custom field where we're able to assign the different values for the tasks that represent the milestones. All right, I'm going to call this MR1. What do we say the values are? Well, we have PRS, right? SRS, I think we said we have, we have DDS, beta, and then GA. Let's type that correctly. They're the values. So I'm going to sort them by row number. Click Save. There's my lookup table. Now I just need to create a field that references that. Remember, it's going to be a task level because it's assigning values at the task. It's going to be a lookup table. It's going to represent MR1. Nothing else is really significant at this point. It's just literally assigning values for tasks. And at that point, I'm done. There is the item with which I assign or tag tasks as milestones within the system. What do we do next? Well, we said we'd go ahead and create one set of fields required for one of the milestones. And I'm going to choose the first one, which is going to be the PRS field. Let's go ahead and create the PRS task field because we need the task field that is referenced with the project field, right? So we're going to create the PRST. Remember, we said that's a task level field, therefore we're going to make the entity task. The type in this case is going to be a number because remember what it outputted when I showed you that earlier? It actually output a number, and then we have to enter in a formula here. There's the formula that's going to be utilized. Let's talk about this for a minute. So the first thing the formula does is it evaluates that custom field we just created, MR1. If MR1 equals PRS, so basically the formula is going to cycle through all the tasks in the project and all the custom field called MR1 through all the tasks in the project. When it comes to one of the tasks that has the value of PRS, it's going to do the following. And a switch is just basically if this, then that. Okay, so it basically says, well, if the percent complete is 0 and the start is greater than now, show me a 4. Okay. If percent complete equals 100, then output a 1. And that just basically means it's done. If percent complete is less than 100 and now is greater than now is greater than finish, which means it technically should have started, but percent complete still represents, is less than 100, output a 3. And then we have a couple more here. If percent complete is less than 100, now is less than finish, which means it should almost be finished, output a 2. And then finally, true equates to a 0. These are basically catch-alls, these last two. You have to have something as a catch-all here to do the last else. And we just put zeros out of those, and you'll see what those equate to as a graphical indicator. So we'll talk a little bit more about those when you see the project level field. There are actually textual evaluations that will be output, that will be utilized by the user to determine specifically what is output. Now we're going to roll this up which means this, okay? This formula is going to output a numeric value. How do I know which one's going to be output, or how do I determine definitively which one's going to be output? And in this case, I could use the formula, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to specify a maximum, okay? Because remember this formula is going to go through and it's going to evaluate every single task in the project, whether or not it's PRS, right? So it's going to say, is it a PRS? Do this. Otherwise, output is 0. So that's the very first thing that's happening here is if it's PRS, go through all these switch statements and output a number. Otherwise, output is 0. Therefore, I can't use formula as the output. What I need to do is I need to output the maximum. So hopefully that makes sense here. All right. What I'm going to do is output maximum there. This calculation for assignment rows, I'm going to roll down unless manually specified. And those are basically the settings for my task level field. I'll click Save. And if everything goes well for the task level, we should be good. And there it is. Let's go ahead and create the project level. And this one, remember, no _T. It's a project level. And if you remember what I said earlier, if you caught that, I basically said this is also going to, in addition to output graphical indicators, it's going to output a textual-based message, which will tell the user when they hover over the indicator, what does this really mean, this green check mark or this yellow diamond or what have you when it outputs. Therefore, we're going to do a type of text. It is another formula. So let's go ahead and select formula here. And rather than you watching me type this, we're going to paste this in. Okay. All right. So let's talk about this. This formula, right? Notice what it does. It says if PRS _T, therefore it's evaluating that text field. It says if it equals 1, the task is complete. If PRS _T equals a 2, output it's on schedule. If it equals a 3, it is late. If it equals a 4, it's a future task, which means it shouldn't have started yet, right? So we're going to give that a white dash. And then finally, if it doesn't meet any one of those particular items there, right, 1, 2, 3, or 4, we have to put out something. We're going to just put out a not applicable. And then we're going to put out a certain graphical indicator for that. And next, we're going to take care of that. So let's go down to the bottom portion. Notice the values to display section. We can choose data or graphical. We want graphical because this is a milestone dashboard. Dashboards are all about, instead of evaluating the specific data points, you're evaluating colors and so forth to determine how things are tracking. How's your budget tracking? How's your schedule tracking? So we need basically 5 items here. I have 4. Let's put a 5. The tests here are going to be contains for every one of them. Okay. Now the values, and these are directly from up top, right? Okay. Complete, on schedule, late, future task, and then I think the last one, not applicable. Complete is, you saw this earlier, complete is just going to be that green check mark, and I think the green check mark is probably past it. Let's scroll back up here and try to find the green check mark. Oh, it's being elusive. Okay, let's try to find this again. Scroll down, past the dashes, past the diamonds. I think I'm going in. There it is. There's the green check mark. Okay, on schedule. That's going to be my. Well, we can make it a green circle. We can make it a green diamond. I think I'm going to choose keep it consistent. It'd be nice if I picked the correct one here. Let's go ahead and do that. We said green diamond. Late is going to be the yellow diamond. Let's find that. Future task, we're going to make that white dash. Okay. And then not applicable, we're going to make it that really kind of very drab black circle with the the white center. Okay. Notice it has non-summary rows selected here. Project summary is going to be the one that's going to be utilized, right? So we just basically want to make sure it inherits here. Therefore, I select inherit criteria for summary rows. Check it again, PRS, project text. There's my formula, evaluating PRS _2. It has the information in there. Let's go ahead and save. Great. Okay. No errors. All right, let's go ahead and launch project. What I'm going to do is close it down, and this time I'm going to launch it again and connect to the environment that we just created those fields. So it's really interesting trying to test these scenarios, okay? Because you have to make sure you have all the information in place correctly. And I'm not going to test every single scenario. I'm going to just test a couple of them and make sure they work, right? Call it task. I'm going to put auto scheduled here. So we have our task 1. Remember, we have to assign it something here. And then we have, let's see if we can get that in there. We have the T level, okay? And we also have the project level, okay? So there you go. We know the catch-all is working, the not applicable. That's great. Let's go ahead and select PRS. Okay, look at that. It already equates to a yellow diamond. Let's try to figure out why that is the case here. All right. If we look at this, we have a start date of the 23rd, a finish date of the 23rd, and today is the 25th. So it's already late, all right? So remember when we look back at that formula, okay? So one of the things was if the number 3 in this particular case. So it's basically saying, is the percent complete less than 100 and now greater than finish? Well, yeah, percent complete is definitely less than 100. It's going to be 0. And the finish date is less than today. Okay, so that is definitely equating properly. What was, when we said something about percent complete equaling 100, that would change to a 1, and a 1 would equate to a check mark. So let's go ahead and do that. Oh, there you go. 100% represents complete, right? So, consider your formula for a minute. We can certainly get one heck of a lot more intricate with the formula and how it's evaluating things, right? What's the degree of lateness versus the overall duration of the project? So there are a lot of things you can do with this. But this formula, I think, is overall really good at what it's evaluating here, okay? So we tested out a couple of the scenarios here. It looks like it's working okay. I'm going to assume that the other scenarios are working all right at this point in time. Therefore, what we have to do now is create the remaining custom fields. And then lastly, we'll finish creating this project, and then we'll create a project center view to test. So let's go ahead. We'll conclude this lesson and start up and finish the rest of the custom fields. Okay, we're back. So let's go ahead and get started and do the remainder of these fields here. And I'm going to create my SRS _T project level number formula, paste it in. And we need to make sure it's going to be a task level field, right? So we have to get that right. Roll up is going to be maximum, roll down. Okay. Right. So there you go. SRS under, oh, that should be a T. Make sure we get this right. Task number formula, maximum, roll down. Okay, it's not like in my formula. That's because I took the wrong formula. Okay, folks, in this lesson, we're going to go ahead and continue with creating the rest of the custom fields. Have several more to go, and we're going to continue with SRS _T, right, the task level field. And let's make sure we get this. And remember, task level field, it's going to be a number. It's going to be a formula. Paste in our formula. Okay. You can always go back and watch this video again if you missed anything. Okay. Next, we just do the SRS. Right. It's going to be project. It's going to be, oh, we leave that text. Let's go ahead and grab that formula. Recall, the only difference in these formulas is the values change, right, that are being evaluated each time. Okay. All right, so this contains, and let's go ahead and type these values in. Complete, on schedule, late, future task. Oh, and not applicable, like that. I want to show the data values and the tooltips. I believe I probably skipped that earlier. I might have to go back and do that. But what I wanted to do, if you recall from earlier, is have those data values show up so that when the user sees sees a, those indicators, graphical indicators, they can actually go ahead and hover over it, and then the text will actually demonstrate or display, hey, what is late. What is a yellow diamond versus the other indicators that are going to be displayed there. It's always good to have that in there if you're able to do it. Nope, that's supposed to be green diamond. That's supposed to be yellow diamond, and we'll go ahead and get that. It's supposed to be future task, right? So we said white dash. Okay, get that, and then we said not applicable. And this is, I think, almost the last, toward the end of all the items here. Done. And it's not liking my formula. I wonder what that is. Oh, that's supposed to be. And I must have created something under the wrong name here, huh? Let's see what we've got under here. Oh, that's funny. I did SRS, so let's go ahead and do this as SRS. Yeah. I'm supposed to be doing SRS, so for some reason I decided to put in the wrong formula there. Okay. Now I'm doing DDS. So DDS underscore T, right? So I said we do the tasks first, number, formula. Paste that formula in, roll up maximum, roll down, right? And then I'm going to do my straight DDS. Okay, it's going to be a project. It's going to be a text. It's going to be a formula. Put that in. Then we do the graphical indicators again. What do? We contain. I'm going to show tips, so I'm going to leave that in there. This is going to be complete, on schedule, late, and future task, applicable. We said complete's going to be that handy, super nice green check mark here, right? So now we're going to get that super nice green diamond. There it is. Going to get that handy yellow diamond, which I just saw go by. Future task, we said it's going to be the white dash, right? And finally, that interesting looking black item with the white in the center. Okay. Now we're up to, we finished the DDSs. Now we do beta. So let's get our information here. I'm going to do everything in caps here, make sure I am consistent. Task, we said number, formula, paste it in, roll up is max, roll down. That's that. We'll let that save. And now we have to create our, and let's go ahead and grab that. New field. I'm going to call it beta, project, text, formula. Hopefully I'm getting this all right. Going through here kind of fast. 2 more. Contains 2, 3, 4, 5. We said we'd show it in here. I should know this by now. On schedule, late, what do we say? Future task, and then not applicable, complete, green check mark, right? And just saw that go by. Green diamond. Okay, there's my green diamond. Yellow diamond. Right, yellow diamond. Future task is my white dash. And there's my white dash. And then finally that interesting black with the white center. Hopefully I'm getting these right. And what do we have? We have one more. Boy. Okay, GA underscore T, task, number, formula, paste it in. We said roll up max, roll down. There's my GA. And then we have just one more. GA, project, text, formula, paste that in. We said graphical, we need 2 more there. Get 1 more, show, contains, right, for all of them. And then we said complete. And we said on schedule. Then we said late. Then we said future task. Applicable. Applicable. I have to make sure I spell those right. Okay. Last one. What we say? Green check mark. Getting down there. Then we said green diamond. And we're getting to the green diamond. Yellow diamond. And there's my yellow diamond. Future task. White dash. There's my white dash. And there's the last one. And there is that interesting black circle with the white center. Save. Hopefully that'll save. Okay. So there are all my fields, right? Beta T beta, DDS-T DDS, GA-T GA. Every single one of them are in place. So we've created the remaining custom fields. Next lesson, what are we going to do? Create the test project, create the project center view, create all the custom fields that they equate to some kind of value, publish the project, and then confirm that the view works. Then we'll be done. All right. See you soon. Okay, folks, great. Thanks again. So remember, we're creating our milestone dashboard. This is lesson 4. We're going to create the test project, create a project center view to test it, and hopefully see that everything came out exactly the way we planned, right? What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to create the project center view first. In this case, we're going to navigate to service settings, navigate to manage views, and what I'm going to do is I'll copy an existing view. We'll copy the summary, select it, click copy view up top. Right, we'll call this, let's call it milestone summary. There it is. Go ahead and click on the name. And what I need to do is locate my fields here, right? So we have PRS, there it is. Bring it over. Gonna put it right next to project name. SRS, bring it over. Put it right next to project name. And what do we have after SRS? We have DDS, right? So let's go back up here. We have DDS, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then we have beta, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then finally, there they are. One last thing, I'm going to change the width on every one of these to 50 pixels, because remember, it's displaying a graphical indicator. It's not taking up much space, as well as the headings are very narrow as well. Therefore, this is going to give me a nice compact look to the view where it's going to fit all the graphical indicators. Very nice, aesthetically pleasing, be able to view them very easily. All right, so there's my view. Let's navigate to Project Center, see if it looks okay. There's the default summary. There's my milestone summary. We'll go ahead and select it. Very nice. This is exactly what I was looking for. Let me go ahead and change these widths a little bit. Get them to persist. We'll click on resources and then click on Project Center, and everything should look good. Perfect. Exactly what I want. Okay. Next, let's create myself a project. Go to my environment here. Blank project. Task 1. Task 2, 3, right? We have 4. Make things auto scheduled just because that's what I want to do. Put some durations there. All right, now remember the first thing. Assign them as milestones, right? Remember that? PRS, SRS, DDS, beta, GA. Okay? Oh, another thing I wanted to do. I don't want it to start today. A couple days ago, 23rd. Okay, great. Let's expand those a little bit so we can see what's going on here. All right. I want to add the T-level fields just so we can confirm things are calculating correct. What we say, PRS, SRS. And let me move that divider here, get out of my way. Then we have DDS. Then we have beta. Then we have GA. Let's try it again, Dan. One more time. There we go. If everything worked out okay, I should see numbers, right, for each one of these columns. And if you do, right, looking down diagonally, so PRS, SRS, DDS, beta, GA, each one has a number. Each one has a number of 2. And so what does 2 mean? 2 means on schedule, okay? All right, so that's it. So we look here, 3-day duration. It's supposed to finish on the 25th. All right, technically the 25th isn't over at this point in time. It says it's on schedule at this point in time. If I were to change this date to the 24th, move to before there, it would change to a 3, telling me that what does the 3 represent? If we look back at our formula, which I'm looking at on another screen, a 3 is a late, okay? If the date were, let's make it Friday, 27th, again, it goes back to on schedule. If I were to, let's go ahead and insert the % complete here, right? One of the other things was green check mark, that would be a 1, changes to 1. Let's do the same thing here, okay? 26th is tomorrow, so 2 on schedule. Okay, makes complete sense. Move it back to prior to today. Yes, that's fine. Changes it to a 3, a late. Give it a 100 here. Goes to 1. Okay, so I'm going to make this a number other than that. Change this to 100. Let's see if that changes. Changes to 1. Perfect. Change it to a value other than that. Change this to 100. Changes to a 1. Perfect. And then again, we're just testing. Oop, that's not what I wanted. Changes GAT to a 1. That's perfect. Okay. Everything looks great. The formula is working just fine. So let's do ourselves a favor here. Save this. Milestone test 102, and then publish this project. Click publish, and hopefully this is it. This is it, folks, right? This took a little bit of work, right? Because you're creating, 2 custom fields per milestone. You have to create the lookup table, and you have to assign the milestones to each of the tasks that you want to have a milestone. However, once the custom fields are set up, okay, and then once you get that established that everything's working and tested successfully, then it's just a matter of assigning them and maintaining your project, and then being aware as a project manager, right, that you have this project that has milestones assigned and you need to start checking them. Okay, back to the view. Let's go ahead and just refresh. And hey there, look at that. Milestone test 102. PRS is complete. SRS is looking late. However, it looks like DDS, beta, and GA are all on schedule, right? Excellent. Great job. Well done. Looks like we accomplished what we set out to do today, folks, and I really appreciate you watching this training video. If you want any more information, you know how to get a hold of us, info@intelligent.com, and look forward to hearing from you again soon. Thanks very much for attending. Bye-bye.